Hey, what's up, man? It's your boy DJ Funky. You can follow me on all platforms, man. DJ Funky ATL. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this your boy DJ Big X ATL with Coalition DJs, and I just jumped off the porch.
With Dirty Globe Bastard, man. What's up? Spitty!
Yes, sir. We right back at it, y'all. We got a special one coming to y'all today, y'all. We got my boys DJ Funky and DJ Big X of the Coalition DJs jumping off the porch with us today. What's up, fellas?
What's up, Spitty?
What's up, man? Good to be here, man. Long time.
Man, long time. Definitely overdue. Definitely a pleasure having y'all brothers on the porch, man.
Hey, man, it's an honor to be here, man.
Yeah, I remember we took the picture a while back, so remember I told you, I said, we'll be back.
Yeah.
Shouts out to my cousin Warren G. That show was a dope-ass episode.
Oh, man, yeah, nah, that was amazing, bro. And I got to thank you again for connecting those dots, man. And that actually opened the doors for us to get a lot more legends on the porch, you know, sharing their stories. So Funky, I gotta give you a shout out, bro, because you really helped us to almost jump off like another part of Off the Porch where the legends are feeling comfortable telling their stories.
Dope.
With that being said, I wanted to wait to get on the porch because I wanted to have something to talk about on that same level, you know what I'm saying, as far as the West Coast, you know what I'm saying? So we just did the Cube album, man, so I'm happy to be a part of that project.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing, bro. Like what, so can you explain for the folks that's watching, you worked with Ice Cube on the new release of his album.
Yeah, we man, you know, me and the Coalition DJs, man, we helped A&R the project.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Ice Cube and his team did some stuff, and then, you know, shouts out to T-Mix, you know what I'm saying, Tony Draper, everybody on his side working. And I did some stuff with just, you know what I'm saying, I hooked up with Zaytoven, you know what I'm saying, Mike L, King Henry Welch, you know what I'm saying, people like that to help write a record called No Cap, you know what I'm saying. Shouts out to Zaytoven. Young LA was in the studio that day, you know what I'm saying, we did it at Stankonia, man. Cube heard the record. Ended up being a big record, you know what I'm saying, because he wanted to be one of the records off his project, you know what I'm saying, so that was the first record that we did. I said, man, let me do the whole album. Let me help with some records. Let me get with my Coalition DJs, find some beats, and let's put this thing together like, you know what I'm saying, we would do anybody else's album or project. So he listened to me, I started sending him beats. I hooked up with Ray Murray from Organized Noise. I hooked up with David Banner. You know what I'm saying? Got Corrupt on a record with David Banner, you know what I'm saying, as far as production-wise.
Yeah.
Got with Killer Mike. Killer Mike got on the remix to It's My Ego, and it went to number 7 in the country on the debut. So shouts out to Killer Mike, you know what I'm saying, for even doing that for me and X, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah, for sure. How do you guys feel when, you know, the work that y'all have put in for all of these years, and then, you know, appear, you know, some rap legend, rap icon, you know, somebody like Ice Cube come and say, you know, hey, I want y'all to be a part of my project. Like, when Funky told you that y'all was gonna be a part of that project, X, what was you thinking, man?
I was just like, man, you know, I was first honored to be a part of it, and I was really proud of Funky because I know how long he been working at, you know, being a producer and trying his hands at A&R. I was more excited for Funky and really wanted to put my efforts toward helping him making it a success. So when he came and brought it to me, I was just like, yo, man, whatever we got to do from a DJ standpoint, get behind the record as far as promoting it and marketing it, and then, you know, just my specialty, you know, just my expertise as being a producer in the past, whatever he needed from me when he came to me, I helped him put it together.
Word. And X, you are real Atlanta. A real Atlanta baby, a real, you know what I mean?
Greater baby.
Yeah, real spit.
I grew up in 4th Ward, you know what I'm saying? I went to John Hope Elementary. I went to Walden Middle School.
Yeah.
So I'm right from the Auburn Avenue area. You know, that's where I grew up at. Like Martin Luther King was very significant when we grew up. So that was one of the main reasons why we celebrate our anniversary on Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, word. Yeah, no, that's what's up. And, you know, growing up in the city of Atlanta, did you foresee, you know, what we are now living in as this, you know, major hub? I mean, passing up, you know, cities like New York, cities like LA, you know, in certain areas.
Well, early on in the music business, I didn't see what we at now, like, you know, with it being the music mecca, because I think when we grew up in New York, with it being the foundation, I think nobody really seen it moving past New York. But once I seen what the South started bringing to the game, when we started bringing melodies and hooks and different things that New York and other places wasn't bringing to the game, then I started seeing, I was like, okay, we on to something now. By the time we did the Hard Boys and then Outkast came along, that's when I knew Atlanta had a voice. I think until you heard the Hard Boys, before that we was just doing party rap.
Yeah.
And when I say party rap is what a lot of people call booty shaker bass. When the Hard Boys and Outkast came along, it really gave not just Atlanta, but the South a voice. Like people started to really, you know, we was telling our story opposed to just, you know, making party songs. And it was really a lot to be told when you start thinking about the stories that Outkast came with, Goody Mob, and everybody that came after that.
Yeah, nah, for sure. But and then would you even say like rappers like Raheem the Dream?
Like Raheem the Dream was like
Party rap.
That was like part of the party rap era. Like Raheem the Dream,
Fresh
Shadi,
Party.
they was the first guys to really jump off the porch for real. Like when you
They
talk
stayed on the radio too. Raheem stayed on the radio.
when you talk about Atlanta during that time, bass music was real big. You know what I'm saying? Dance music. You know, when back in the '90s, back in the early '90s, late '80s,
Shadi.
nobody really took Atlanta serious as far as hip hop. So, but what they did do, because you know we had strip clubs and that kind of thing going on, and Miami was popping at the time. It was easier for us to walk through the door doing a bass song or a dance record, to where like once the '90s came, you had groups like NWA and different things like that come, and it was only a natural progression for us as, you know, a community to grow. You know what I'm saying?
Culture.
So a culture. Then you start seeing the Hard Boys. You seen Arrested Development. You seen ABC. You seen Crisscross.
Ghetto Mafia.
Ghetto Mafia. A lot of these groups started to come in because now we're developing a culture just like LA, just like New York, just like Houston, just like Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
Word. Now, Funky, being from Kansas City,
Yeah.
what was your what was your experience, you know, of Atlanta when you first came here? And did you come to Atlanta pursuing music?
So my parents was from Alabama, you know what I'm saying? So I was coming to Atlanta every summer.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So I ended up hooking up with, you know, different people from kept a relationship, you know, so I knew about the culture already, you know what I'm saying? And the LA culture, just, you know what I'm saying? I've been, because of my relatives, you know, in different states, so if that answer your question.
Yeah, nah, for sure. X, is it true that in high school you were DJing at the strip club?
Yeah, I was.
And you was able to finesse a situation where you could leave school early to go.
Yeah,
and
you
DJ
know the
strip
crazy
club.
part about it, I was in the work release program. You know when you get out of school early your senior year.
Yeah.
Well, that senior year I was supposed to been working at a record store, but I wasn't going to the record store. I was actually going to the strip club. Shout out to
you said technically you was still around records.
Oh yeah, I was for sure. But shout out to my man Wolf that's over there now. He used to actually be the manager at the Phoenix, and I met him at the Phoenix, being underage, not old enough to get in.
Yeah.
I was hanging out with some guys that actually was in college during that time, so everywhere they went, they took me. So I got the chance to meet Wolf, and Wolf one night seen me. They let me DJ in the Phoenix one night. He said, "Well, we're gonna go over to Magic City." And he took me over to Magic City, and I met my man D and Shawty P. I don't know if you know who Shawty P, the midget is that be in the Universal Soul Circus. He was the DJ at Magic City too.
He was cold.
Yeah, so he was cold as a DJ. But those were the first two DJs that kind of introduced me to DJing in the strip club.
Wow.
Then I think I met X at that time, and he was working with Rowdy Dallas Austin, you know what I'm saying? I was carrying his crates, trying to get in some of these parties. Met Biggie, met, you know, all the celebrities fucking with this nigga, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
he wasn't no hard to get along nigga, you know, so he fucked with a nigga, you know. I was from Kansas City, he kind of put me up under his wing, you feel me?
Word. Do
Yeah,
you guys remember when y'all met each other? And I would imagine it's probably two different stories.
It was at the strip club, I think.
I just know meeting him, my fondest remember of meeting Funky was like every time I seen Funky, he used to always say, "Fuck with me."
Yeah, fuck with me, nigga.
Fuck with me, nigga.
That nigga was,
Like every time I seen Funky, that was his main thing was fuck with me. But
I was new in town.
He
you
was
know
new
what
in town, and I didn't really know him. And during that time, like I said, I was working with Dallas. I was doing a lot, but I used to always go to the club. It seemed like every club I went to, this nigga would be there.
But see, I ain't gonna cap y'all niggas down. I had the weed. I ain't gonna lie. I had the motherfucking weed.
Yeah.
So I do give a lot of credit to fucking marijuana, because I wouldn't know nobody if I done had the fucking weed. That nigga probably wouldn't have fucked with me. That nigga smoked weed.
But you know what though,
Funky
man?
OG, and then I end up legalizing it, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
later in my life, and turning it into a business.
Yeah, he did have a weed though.
But man, weed bring us together, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, in the How High movie, remember? Got weed, got blunt.
But to be honest, like no bullshit. That's really how we bonded. Like the cool shit about the whole story with me and DJ Funky was, you know, I know a lot of people, don't be mad. Listen, the cool thing about me and Funky, when I met him, it was the weed that brought us together. But as we met, I started to see like how he was into music.
Yeah.
One of my fondest stories when we met was I was doing a deal with Tommy Boy, and Tommy Boy called me one day and was like, "Yo, we want to do some music like that bass stuff y'all do in Atlanta."
Tommy Boy called him. Y'all heard that.
And I said, I don't know if I could do that, because at the time I was working with I had just did some remixes for like De La Soul and a few other people that was on their label, and they wanted some bass music. So at the time I didn't know what to do. Yeah. I called Funky. I said, "Funky, man, I need somebody to do that bass music." I said, and I can get them a deal. Man, maybe 2 or 3 days passed, and he didn't call me. He showed up at my house with Kizzy Rock.
Wow.
And
Kizzy Rock was DJing at the Sunset. It was right up the street from his house. So I'm like, shit, I can get this nigga with X, you know what I'm saying? And that's how that happened.
And that's how the whole Kizzy Rock situation came about in the early 90s, was when I needed somebody to do some bass music for Tommy Boy, and we just, because they really just wanted to do a single deal. And I told Funky, I said, if we could get Kizzy in here to do a record, we could possibly get a deal within a few days. Yeah. And I promise you, it was this before the internet, this before anything. We cut that record in my mom's house, no studio, no nothing, straight cassette deck and a mic. And I FedExed the tape to Tommy Boy, and within that same week, we had a deal on Tommy Boy. Wow. And that same song that we sent was Yeah, Shawty Yeah.
Wow. So
shout out to Kids, because he had the clubs popping at the time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's how we even, you know what I'm saying, consider Kids, because he had the clubs rocking that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
So man, Funky always just been working his move.
Oh yeah, Funky's always been, you know, he's always been the man. He's always been at the right, I always tell Funky he's at the right place at the right time.
Yeah. Nah, because, you know, we always talk about, you know, like what you bring to the table, like making sure that, you know, like when you're around people that, you know, you're bringing some value, you know what I mean? Yeah. So whether it was in the beginning, you know, him having the weed and, you know what I mean, having that on deck, or then you needing a solution and bruh being able to make that happen, you know what I'm saying? Like that's.
And I always took him everywhere with me. Like he was always him and another guy named Smitty. Everywhere I went, I kind of always had these two guys with me. If Smitty went with me, Funky was with me.
Hey, he called me one time, Spitty. He said, "Man, come to Rowdy, man." You know what I'm saying? I forget what the reason was. But he said, "Come here, I got somebody I want you to meet." It was George Clinton, my guy.
Wow.
So I met George Clinton that day with this guy.
Yeah.
So that's big to me, because my name DJ Funky, and I follow the funk, you know what I'm saying? So that was big to me. Nah, that's my partner. I'm like,
that's
this
amazing
George
right
Clinton,
there. Man, Funky, do you remember when you jumped off the porch?
Man, I feel like this, man. I feel like I've been jumping off the porch my whole career.
Huh.
Well, for me, I would say for Funky, I remember
reinventing myself. That's the, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel like it been just one time that I feel like, because I've been doing this shit in different, I want to say I've been a bartender, then I became a DJ, and then I became a producer. You know what I'm saying? It's just been different phases in my life. So I've been jumping out the porch. I want to say that.
Yeah. But I think when people really started to take notice of Funky was when he started doing the mixtapes. When he did like the Yo Gotti, he did the David Banner. And then like one time we did like, remember we did that Backwoods and we pressed like maybe 25,000 copies of a CD and we didn't even sell them. We were just giving them away.
Puerto Rico.
You know what I mean? So
to us. Power Summit. That's what he doing right now.
Yeah, DJ Power Summit.
Yeah.
But I went to it was called a Mix Show Power Summit, and then back then we were just promoting mixtapes, and I had Funky do a mixtape for this group I had called the Backwoods. And
I met everybody there too.
While we was out there, we
Was
was
that the
at
Justo's mixtape? Something was that?
yeah,
that
it was a mixtape Power Summit.
Okay, yeah.
Renee McClain used to do,
and Justo and all
yeah,
that.
all those
was
people used to,
big.
it was
Yeah,
big.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of like the nucleus of like for me, where I seen the value in what Funky was building, and I seen, like I said, I'm gonna stay with Funky and help him build what he trying to do as far as the mixtapes and that kind of thing. At the time when all this was going on, I was working at Rowdy. I was doing Rowdy Records. I had like a group I called the Backwoods. I was working with Sammy.
Yeah.
And so I was really trying to help Dallas do Rowdy Records again. But at the same time, me and Funky had a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was bartending. I was in the club, you know what I'm saying? 559, 321. You know
But
what I'm
we
saying?
had
I was in the street.
but we had a real, that was like, outside of working at the label, I was really in the street with Funky every
Yeah.
other night.
Yeah.
So after
I
I
had
left,
Too Short and all you guys pull up to the club, you know what I'm saying?
But it's dope though, because it sounds like it was like that perfect yin and yang. Like
Yeah.
X, while you were navigating like some
The
of your
business
label
side.
connects,
It's still
business
that-
connects,
yeah.
all of that. Funky, keeping the ear to the street and being in the mix, being resourceful and all that, and you guys were able to just
yeah, and
bring
we
it.
always, even the way we communicate now, we talk every day. If it ain't a day that don't go by that we don't talk, but we use what the knowledge that we had and brought it together like around, maybe after I left the label, that's when I told Funky, I was just like, I didn't really know what I want to do. I know I didn't really want to make music no more. I know I didn't want to work in the industry, but I did want to be around the music. And that's when I told him, we had formed like a video company. We was trying to shoot videos. This was like when YouTube, remember when YouTube first came and everybody wanted to make video? We was trying to do a video company.
I still got all that footage.
and
He do too. He did
I got
dirty TV.
I got a call one day to go work at Onyx. My man, what's my man that's in jail now? He was he got convicted for the murder at my man the DJ. Not Foreplay, Hollywood. Which one of them? One of them got. Well, my man who brought me to Onyx, he got convicted for murder. He murdered a guy over at the club on Old National. Sure. But he brought me over to Onyx to do an audition, and I never auditioned before. So I went over there, auditioned, I got the job. But at the same time, this was the same day me and Funky, we didn't really start our company, but we had a company, and I left him at the video shoot that same day. I can't remember that. I can't remember that artist. I can't remember the artist it was, but we had a video. We had got hired to do a video, but that same day, King Kong, a guy called me on the phone, Rick over at Onyx. He called me to hire me at Onyx, and that was kind of like that was the start of like me going back to the strip club and me meeting Nando.
Yeah.
And once I started that job at Onyx, that was when me and Nando built a friendship. And from me and Nando building a friendship, that's how I got Funky. Because at the time, even though me and Funky was cool, he was more so hanging out with him and X-Rated. They had a relationship. Mm-hmm. So I told Funky, I said, hey man, see if you can get X-Rated to come be a part of this DJ crew I'm gonna do. And he was like, yeah, man, that's gonna work. At first they was kind of hesitant, but once they seen who I had, I was like, me, you, and X-Rated and Nando, this would be the perfect thing that I think that's needed right now. Because at the time, I had already been in the club maybe about 3 or 4 months. So I seen what each individual brought to the table. So I said, one thing I do know, all these artists that's bringing these records into the club, there's no way that we're facilitating them on a regular basis. A lot of artists at the time were just bringing their record in the club and they was paying just to get their record played one time. We figured out a way, and we all sit down as a collective, me, Funky, X-Rated, and Fernando, and figured out a way collectively how to start working these records, and that's what kind of like what formed the coalition.
Wow. And from that, from these ideas, and then you guys, thinking outside the box, to come up with this collective, would you have imagined that you would be sitting here today celebrating 17 years, bruh?
We didn't think it was gonna last I don't know. He said 6 weeks. We didn't know what it was gonna do, really. But then we knew that if we wouldn't have fun doing it, we weren't gonna do it.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Over the years, it got kind of dope, you know what I'm saying? When you see somebody like Lil Baby turn into what he is to today, you know what I'm saying? A Future turn into what he is today.
Right.
And we had something to do with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to keep going, man, because there's a lot of new artists out here that we still looking for today.
Nah,
But I think it's a lot about the people around us that believed in us. You know what I'm saying? I had to shout out Jagged Edge. I think, like I told Jagged Edge last night on the conference call, without them giving us an office to work out of, we wouldn't have met a Nick Love. That's why we met Nick Love.
Shout out to Nick.
You know, that situation, being at the whole Jagged Edge and being able to build our foundation out of that office and out of that studio, that's what really helped us build Coalition DJs. That's what gave us a Nick Love. Shout out to Nick Love. He came and brought the administrative side of what we needed. You know what I'm saying? But as an organization, it was always me, Funky, X-Rated, and Nando. That was the nucleus of what the coalition was.
Word. And long live Nando.
Long live the homie.
Man, he was such good people's man, and I just remember, bro, the one vivid thing I remembered about bro was he was so opinionated. You know what I mean? Like, and he didn't hold back.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, he was the one person I came to some of them New Music Mondays, and he would tell people like,
he give them some good feedback.
Or he would, you know what I mean? But he would give good, constructive feedback and criticism.
And he'll stand on what he say too.
And if he tell you had a hit record and he told you it was a record that he thought was the one, he stood on it and he played it. You know what I mean? He made sure that he put his stamp on it.
You know what
I mean?
Sure.
So that was the one thing I loved about Nando, is that, you know, man, listen, his whole thing was family and team oriented. That's why even to this day, when you see how we move more so as a family, more so than an organization or employees or people that work for us. We more of a family, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you guys created something that's a staple in the city of Atlanta to the music industry with New Music Monday.
Thank you.
I mean, that's something that, you know, just throughout the music industry, not just Atlanta, but throughout the music industry, you know, that's something that, you know, labels are putting on their marketing plans. You know, people are putting that on their rollouts and on their strategies. When we go to Atlanta, we got to go tap in with Coalition, and we got to get this feedback from the DJs. How does it feel to know that you guys built something that's reputable like that? I mean, besides the main brand, you know what I mean? You guys have also built other pieces, entities to the brand to help it stand out.
I just like that we're maturing and learning more technologies and more ways to monetize and give the proper answer to what's the hottest song in the club. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of people ask that all the time. So we're finding different ways to answer that question. You know what I'm saying? And X probably can elaborate more on that. What we got coming up.
I mean, how it feel to actually create something like to create something like a New Music Monday is great, because when we started it 15 years ago, it's like we celebrating 17 years, but we got 15 years of New Music Monday. But when we started out in the bowling alley on Metropolitan, at the bowling alley. You know what I'm saying? So to see us grow out of the bowling alley to Stank on your studios, and you got
in
people
your neighborhood across the street at the little.
Yeah, we was in a little bar. You know what I'm saying? So
Then we was on Edgewood.
We've tried this new music thing a few different ways.
Yeah.
But shout out to Blue at
Crossover Studios.
Shout out to Kurt over at Patchwork. Shout out to Big Boy. You know, they gave us a home. They gave us a place that people could come, that I felt like when they came, people felt like it was somewhere where they wanted to be. It was, you know, they made the situation for us to bring those people into, especially at Stankonia, especially at Kurt, I mean, with Patchwork. You got, if you ever been to Patchwork, you know how Kurt is about his studio.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, God bless him, he let us work as long as we could to, you know, we needed to move into a place like Stankonia. Well, even when we got Stankonia, we didn't know what to do, because we never pictured us being in that situation like what we're doing now. Like when we started, it was just for us to listen to the music. We never thought that we would see.
Man, let's start putting them on the stage. We're Stankonia.
because listen, all we was doing was listening to the music. So when you come in to Stankonia, you know it's a stage. We used to actually listen to the artists on the floor.
Right, yeah.
Because we never utilized the stage, because we never pictured artists performing. We never pictured that until one day Funky was in there one day and said, man, let him go up on the stage and perform that shit.
Like I do at the club.
And from
Put you on
there,
the spot.
from Funky saying let's perform on stage, it just kind of grew. It kind of just grew from there.
I used to do that to Future or whoever, man. Then he like, man, I'd rather just do it then. And nah, come in the club and perform, man. These folks want to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Can you
He
name?
hated that though, but you know what I'm saying? They rather just not be in the spotlight. They rather just kick it with you on the private.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we started doing dinners over the years as far as Future.
Word. And can you name some of the notable artists, maybe even some of the like hit songs, you know what I'm saying, that have come, you know, out of New Music Monday?
Well, I can name some of the people that's been there, like Big X the Plug,
17
Megan Thee
years.
Stallion,
Everybody.
Lil Baby,
Can I say everybody?
Migos,
Just say
Boss
everybody.
Man D-Lo. If I telling you, so many people, like if they
Glorilla.
over the last 15 years, if they been somebody, they like I say, we played a part of it indirectly or directly.
Can you
know
think
what
of
I'm saying?
anyone that crossed the New Music Monday stage where you knew automatically that they were a star when you?
The baby.
The Baby.
The baby came
The
up
Baby
and
came and started hunching the chair, and he
jumping
was
out the stage. Took his shirt off. I think he started, man, like, he had a diaper on.
But
one
like,
time.
and we got video when they were like, you know, of him. You know what I'm saying? And like, and I tell this story all the time, but we can't find the video. Like when
yeah,
Megan
they
came,
found it. Street got it.
like when
Shout
Megan,
out to street politician.
when Megan Thee Stallion
got it in
came.
the archive.
What's my
We got
man? Carl?
Migos. We got Travis Scott. We got everybody that ever came. Wale. We got all that, man. When we were just at the studio, we got all the footage, man. So the documentary coming soon. Spitty gonna engineer this and get us
Yes,
together,
But,
man.
but when we was doing it, when Carl Crawford came, he had a whole nother group he was pushing. We found, I ain't gonna say we found the Megan, but she was in the background when she came. He wasn't even pushing her. And I was in the back of the room and I was just like, well, what'd she do? She came and rapped. I don't even know if she did 16 bars or she did something.
turned
in there.
it out.
But whatever she did, she turned it out because
she did what she doing now.
every
Did.
DJ that was in that room, she made him a fan that day. And I think from her coming to New Music Monday that day, Carl went back, him and T. Ferris.
Signed.
I think she was already signed. But I think at that point they seen we got a star. You know what I'm saying? And I think from that point right there, that's what kind of built our relationship with 1501.
How did you guys develop the niche of, you know, the Coalition DJs being a collective of DJs that are in the strip clubs? Because that's, you know, these other DJ collectives, I mean, there may be DJs that, you know, also spin in strip clubs, but is it true to say that the Coalition DJs, like the niche, like is that all of the DJs are in strip clubs in different cities around the country?
So when we started like that, okay, I was in the strip club.
Yeah.
X-Rated was in the strip club. X was in the strip club. Yes, we was all in the strip clubs. But you know what I'm saying? After maybe 10 years later, we didn't want to be called a strip club DJ. We
Gotcha.
got bougie, man. We, you know, come on.
No, I ain't
man.
gonna say we got bougie. It's just
Shit.
I
I don't want to just get DJ. We want to get like we just did Atlantic Symphony Theater with Rick Ross with a live orchestra.
Yeah.
We want them jobs.
Where's the stigma that come with the strip club? You know, even though people in Atlanta love the strip club, you know, in Atlanta, strip clubs is like a regular club.
Oh, yeah.
But the stigma that comes along with being called a strip club DJ, that don't go in a lot of spaces and places well. So what we tried to do was, after we did the Wall Street Journal article and we got that type of notoriety, we wanted to move away from that and become more of a bid, looked at more as a business and as a DJ organization.
Marketing and promotion.
You know what I'm saying?
DJ crew.
Yeah, we didn't want to be looked at just some strip club DJs because it kind of limited us
Yeah.
too, kind of put us in a box.
Right.
So we didn't want to be put in that box. Like now, that's even rarely even mentioned a lot even now because we have DJs that's outside of the strip club. We got hookah lounge DJs.
Radio
We
DJ.
got radio DJs. we got club DJs.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of different. It's a lot of variety and diversity in the crew now. Before when we first started, the main four guys, we was in all the main strip clubs in the city. Every night that we was in the strip club, every night that we had was popping.
Yeah.
So if you went to the club from at least, I'll say from 2008, maybe to 2013 or 14, those nights, we was in those clubs. If it was the after hours, we had the after hours. If it was the club that was, only thing we wasn't doing at that time was the mansion. the clubs, you know, all those kind of clubs.
Yeah.
But every strip club, every after hour, every
Shout out
club
to
that was
Alex.
like that,
Yeah, that
we
shit
was
a
doing
lot.
that. You know what I mean? We was there.
At what point did you realize that the strip club was such a strong marketing tool for music?
If you want me to tell you the truth, I realized it years ago, way before I started doing Coalition. You know what I'm saying? So it's always been a force, man. The strip club, way before 2008, when we talk about Jeezy, when you talk about Ludacris, when you talk about Lil Jon, when you talk about Gucci,
T.I.
when you talk about T.I., all of these records were still broke before Coalition. You know, shout out to Hitman DJs, shout out to Super Friends, shout out to the Legion of Doom. Those guys played a part too. Funky was a part of Legion of Doom. He was a part of Hitman. So I don't want to sit here and act like, you know,
I wasn't part of Hitman. I knew Casper, that
Okay.
was my guy. I feel like I was a part of hood,
I thought you
rich,
was part of that.
everybody, you know what I'm saying? Because them was all my people.
Right.
You feel me? But, you know what I'm saying? Because they was all our friends.
Yeah, because at the same time, that,
You gotta lay, okay. You got different bloggers, but you still cool with them, right, Spitty?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same shit, man.
yeah,
Everybody
so-
get along.
and that was a great thing about Atlanta during that time. All of us, even now, you know, we all still cool. You know, I think the separation came when everybody wanted to break records. That's when, you know, we just got crazy out here.
Yeah, word. X, you spoke on you know, working with Dallas Austin over at Rowdy, but can you sort of tap into, or can you bring us more into like you as a producer and like how did that come about, or not how did that come about? Did you start out as a producer before DJing, or
I was a DJ first.
okay.
I DJ'd at Sharon Showcase as a young kid growing up. I went in the military for a few years,
Okay.
and I came back home. When I came back home, I learned how to produce while I was in the military. When I came home, I think ABC, I think Dallas had just did ABC, and from there I sorted his brother out, which was Claude Austin. After me and Claude Austin met, I had already had a beat tape. I think at the same time I left a beat tape over Girl House, and she let Claude hear it. And that same night I was coming home from Magic City. He called me on the phone. He said, "Yo, bro, I want you to meet my brother." I met his brother the next day, and from that day, shit, I was in the music business.
Word.
Serious. I worked with Dallas from shit, still to this day. I still work with Dallas, but we did a lot together. You know, from TLC to Monica to
Sierra.
you know, everything that was over there, Dallas was a part of, man. You know, I was a part of, whether it be directly, indirectly. I've always been a major supporter of his. He's always been a major supporter of mine. But whatever he's ever been a part of, I tried to make myself a part of it.
Word. On the production side, like, do you have like favorite go-to equipment or favorite go-to, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I love the 1200. My go-to was the
the
1200.
SP1200?
Yeah, like, you
Oh,
know,
man.
but as
That was your best one?
yeah, that was my best one. Like, that was my
thought
equipment.
MPC.
I had a 1200 and a 1000. I used to have them connected
I
together.
remember them motherfuckers.
And
And them sound modules. Then you
yeah.
take the bass out of them. I mean, take the highs out and take the
I used to have that, and that was like my favorite. But as the 1200 and sample time got bigger and equipment got a lot, you know, some more sophisticated, I moved to the MPC. But my favorite now is like, you know, the MPC one. I like what over the years how they've developed in even the software they have for like making beats. I think a lot of it is cheat code compared to what we had to do back in the day.
Yeah.
But I ain't mad at a lot of these producers. You know, I don't produce as much as I used to, but I'm a very big supporter of the music. Like everything Funky do, everything Zaytoven do, all my producer friends like the Drummer Boys. I'm very supportive of the producer community.
Word. And you connected with Too Short, like when he first was coming down to Atlanta. I know you
Yeah.
produced Chase the Cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what was that vibe like, you know, meeting the young Too Short, you know, back then?
Man, when I met Short, it's crazy because and he tell this story all the time about George Clinton. I was actually in a session with George Clinton.
Wow.
When I met Too Short. My friend Anthony, who had a car wash on Marietta Street, he was from Oakland. And he used to always tell me, man, when Short come out here, I'm gonna bring him to you. I was like, Too Short? You ain't gonna bring Short to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I never thought he was gonna bring Short to me. One day we were sitting in the studio and we used to have this running joke in the studio, like they would call back and say, I got Quincy Jones at the front door. And you know they was lying, so you would never go to the front door.
Yeah.
So one day they called me on the phone, I'm in the room with George Clinton, and they go, I got Too Short at the front door for you, X. I'm thinking they lying. I think I might have left Short at the front door for maybe 30, 40 minutes. So then I finally come out the room with George, and I go to the front door, and it was Too Short.
Wow.
And from that day I met Too Short, we was, I won't say best friends, but we was good friends.
Yeah.
And I was on every Too Short album from like maybe 96 to 2001. I think the last album I did with Too Short was Chase the Cat.
Oh.
And we recorded that whole album in my house.
Oh, wow.
He met George that day too.
Yeah, he met
Too
George.
Short.
He met George.
He
I
didn't
think
know- Too Short didn't know.
I think he met George for the first time that day too.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, that is crazy.
And we later on went and did Getting It after that too.
Oh, word.
Bad way. Yes, the one.
So you've seen like all of these transplants. You know,
I seen
come
seen
to the
everybody
city.
come to the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you one of the people from Atlanta that's like, man, stay out of Atlanta. We closed. We full.
Nah, I wouldn't say that, but I do sometimes, you know, like I posted something on my page today where a young lady, she was going in on, you know, how bad the city is, how worse the city has
Yeah.
gotten, and that kind of thing. Yeah, it has, you know, with anything where you get a collection of a lot of different people from different places, you're gonna get a mixing pot. So now I don't like a lot of things, but I've never been a hater of people coming to the city because, you know, a lot of people have brought and contributed to the city. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of people that come are respectful of when you go to somebody else's city, man, you know, you have to be respectful because when I go to LA, I'm respectful of, you know, the people that's in place there. When I go to Houston, I'm respectful. When I go to Detroit, I'm respectful.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it is when you go to a city, you know, I lock in with the people that's really making it happen in those cities.
Yeah.
So if you come into the city, if you come into Atlanta, you might just be hanging out with the wrong people. You might just need to hang out with the people that's making some things happen,
Yeah.
and your experience won't be as bad as some of these people that I'm seeing online now.
Yeah, no, that's real. No, that's real. Funky, can you talk about the Legion of Doom?
Legion of Doom, that's something me and Kool-Aid put together, man. Okay. And it was the same thing, kind of like, you know, just getting with the DJs and we were meeting. We brought in a couple of people to kind of run it. But
yeah, they didn't hire me.
That was your first, was that like your first DJ collective?
Yeah, I thought it was dope, man, because, you know, we got our first shout out from Jeezy.
Yeah.
Got the Super Friends in the Legion of Doom. You know, that's when I feel like, okay, they acknowledge us now.
Yeah.
And that's when I did, you know, started hanging out with Jermaine Dupri on So Def Radio, V103. That's when I started learning doing radio. You know, we stayed on So Def Radio for about 4 or 5 years. And we'd bring every artist from the city up to the station as the pick of the week. You know what I'm saying? Everybody from Rocco to Future to you name it.
Yeah.
You know, that was leverage for us too. And then he said, man, we doing all this, we might well put the Coalition DJs together. You know what I'm saying? Because I was doing that. You know what I'm saying? Bringing Henry was the most feared man in the company up there. You know how he is. So we were just, you know, Jermaine was breaking all the music from around the country. You know what I'm saying? He was making Georgia more worldwide. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I like what JD was doing too, man. I remember one time we brought Kizzy Rock up there. What's my nigga from right here, right now? Edward J. We brought Edward J up there, and it was a big show, man. I got the footage of all this too, so one day we're gonna release that.
Man, I was today years old when I found out that Jeezy was shouting y'all out when he said the Legion of Doom. Like, I never put that together. That's ill.
Yeah, they didn't hire me for Legion of Doom.
Nah, because later in life, we end up doing the Coalition DJs and doing it for 17 years, black on, black off.
Now, mind you, I wanted that job too.
I don't think he wanted it. You know what it was? He wanted to structure it, because he would always tell me what we was doing wrong. Nigga, boy, y'all doing this and y'all ain't making no money. Well, boy, if I came in, I show you the money. He was Tom Cruise, man. I was like, well, show me the money then, nigga. I'm gonna come fuck with you. And then the rest is history. Shit.
Funky,
he showed me the motherfucking money.
Funky, you got a really good relationship with Future. I've heard him shout you out.
We all do.
Times. Yeah.
He would come to the club, man, and you know what I'm saying? He'll bring us his music, I guess, for us to play it before he take it and try to get a deal with it or whatever. So he'll bring it to us, the Kamals, and the girls loved him. So, you know, the girls will tell us, play the shit, you know what I'm saying? And he didn't really had the money like people thought to just throw it all the time. We was just playing Future because we liked it.
Future
That
was,
nigga had this, every time he'd have a record, this shit hard. Scooter, we love Scooter. You know what I'm saying? That's when Bankroll Fresh was coming up too. Hey man, play my shit like you play Future.
Yeah.
That's how we end up getting
the
on
crazy,
him, man. Cause they like, I want the Future treatment. Like, four niggas just, you know, Nando playing the X playing, I'm playing the X-Ray playing it. It was just too much. Like, why y'all getting this nigga? And then we did the same shit with Jeezy, and the rest was history, you know. So I think Jeezy was first though. You know what I'm saying? Cause me and Kool-Aid did the Legion of Doom when the Jeezy era was out. 2004, that's when I did Rap City.
Ah, yeah, in the
And
basement.
Yo Gotti was on the tape, and it's like, man, you doing tapes with David Banner and all, you getting drops around there. I could turn these drops and make you a signature out of these drops and organize and get you. He organized what I was doing. He had a vision because he was doing Rowdy record. He already had the experience.
Yeah.
So he kind of molded me into funky.
Word.
I get that nigga that credit.
Word. Nah, that's what's up, man.
You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
man, come on, man.
As a businessman, funky. You feel me?
No, for sure. Gotta.
I'm
give
still
each
with
other
the
y'all
nigga.
flowers,
I'm
you
still
know
working.
what
I still got my business too.
Y'all been
Funky
rocking.
OG. I got a smoke shop down in Fort Valley. So if y'all ever down in Fort Valley, I own that building.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With my partner Speedy. You know what I'm saying? So y'all come on down there, man.
Nah, that's what's
smoke
up.
shop. Funky OG merch. It's a podcast in the spot. You know what I'm saying? Studio. So that's still going on.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fort Valley.
Nah, I could dig
Make
it. I
it.
could dig it. And X, is it true that you built Jeezy's first studio?
Why I say this? One morning I was at home. Jeezy came and picked me up because how I started, I knew
Lil J.
he was Lil J, but I started with his cousin JoJo, and said Black, and they was working on a project for Itchy Bun. They had a deal with Itchy Bun, and I think something went wrong with their deal. And Jeezy came to my house one morning on a Saturday morning, I never forget, and I went down. He took me to Macon. And they had a bunch of equipment sitting in this house. He said, man, we don't know what to do with it, man. Just hook up as much of the equipment as you can. I remember hooking up the equipment that day and leaving. And I think I may have seen him maybe, I want to say probably 3 or 4 months after that. And this is when they had, what club was that? Visions. They had Visions on P Street.
Was Shawty Red was in there?
I didn't even know what BMF was. I just knew I seen my boy again for the first time. He was sitting up in the VIP. And he kept saying, man, come fuck with me. This is my family. And I didn't know what that shit was. And maybe right after that, he blew up like a motherfucker. Like he was everywhere after that. He was Jeezy the Snowman.
Hey, man.
I knew him as Little J.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
you
But he
gotta
was
shout out
Jeezy
Meech,
everywhere.
You gotta shout out Meech. Because Meech was coming supporting us.
Yeah, he was. Meech
Every
was.
spot we was at, Meech would bring all them niggas and Jeezy would pull up, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, Meech,
you gotta get Meech.
the whole BMF during that time, man, they was very supportive, man. Like we actually seen the whole BMF movement firsthand. Right. Like I remember when they would come in the club and say, we don't want to hear nothing but T.I., Jeezy, and Gucci. You know what I'm saying? This was before the black tea. What was that song? Black tea or white tea they got mad about? But before that song happened, this one they was all cool. You know what I'm saying? I remember us having the first mixtape party in Atlanta ever.
It was the Jermaine Dupri.
Before the Jermaine
DJ
Dupri,
Funky and Jermaine Dupri. That's when So Icy was on that tape, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bolo. He was at that party.
Yeah, Bolo was at that party for sure. You know what I'm saying? But at that party though, which was significant about that party, and I always make, I always make reference. I see you guilty over there. I make reference to that party because it was the first mixtape party. Even though you hear about a lot of mixtape party, shout out to Jermaine for giving us that opportunity. That was the first time that somebody actually ever put a whole party together, and this when Jazzy T's was at his peak. So just imagine, we had Jazzy T's packed.
Jermaine, everybody.
We had Jazzy
Gucci
T's packed before BMF even showed up. So this was the first time me and Funky could charge $100 on the dope.
Yeah.
So we charged everybody that was in BMF to come in, but at the time it was so many people already in the club, we couldn't even get them in the club. So by the time they came in and started partying, bro, they threw money. I'm like, we was walking on top of money. Like everywhere we went, we just walking on top of money.
That's a movie, man.
Like the carpet on the
Like
floor.
the carpet
was
on the
money.
floor was money. Like when you went to the bathroom, you was walking across
They
walls.
brought their own one. I know what the fuck they got out of them goddamn one.
That's crazy. That's funny to said they brought their own.
They parked it, shot the cool run, they parked in the back, nigga. So, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that's how we was able to stay over you know, after hours, man. You got to shout out Face, man. He was a part of a lot of this shit we were doing, man, with the barbecue and after hour spots. Shout out to Face.
Yeah, shout out to Face the chef.
Word. That's what's up, man. And do you think that we would ever see anything like that era, like how those guys were spending money and even like their camaraderie, you know, together?
Often imitated, but it could never be duplicated.
I don't think it'll happen again because, you know, the consequences. Y'all saw how Beach turned out. He had to go do some time. So.
Well, not even just that. I mean, like now you look, just think about Atlanta. We live in the age of the scammers. You'll never see people. You'll always see people in the club throwing money. They made that part of the culture now. They really introduced that to the culture. But as far as what we've seen over the last 10 years, as far as the strip club, I think a lot of that is dying down because now the younger kids, they don't see, you know, a lot of them don't even go to the clubs like that no more, especially strip clubs. So we lived through a great era. I always tell the guys now, like, if you lived through that era where you seen BMF and the Magic City nights, the Big E nights, and all that, Tupac, man, you lived through some of the greatest times ever in life. You get what I'm saying? We'll never see a superstar. I don't think we'll ever see a superstar again.
Hey, what I like about when Tupac used to come out.
For real?
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever see a Michael Jackson again. What we would call a superstar.
Yeah.
A Prince. Because just how the music industry is set up, how social media is. Like right now, we too personable with the artists. We too we too in tuned into their life. We too in touch with what's going on the personal side.
Yeah.
So if one thing go wrong on the personal side now, it's over.
Yeah,
Back then, they was probably doing crazy stuff in their personal life, but we never knew about it.
Right.
Because Bobby and Whitney used to come to the Strokers. I'm talking about.
You know he got a story.
Tupac used to come to when I was at Sandcastle, and he was a regular nigga. He got on the dance floor. That's when people was dancing and shit.
Yeah.
DJ Nitro, shout out to Nabs, DJ Nabs. He was DJing at the time.
Yeah.
So it was just really, you know what I'm saying. He still was shooting at the police the next day, but he would come in there and kick it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. He was a regular. Too Short, all them. You know what I'm saying. Too Short just be at the bar. No security, you know what I'm saying?
It's like
shoot on the pool table.
But that's why I think now, like when I think about like where Atlanta is
now, you got the bodyguards and you know it's all.
When you think about artists now, I think a lot of why Atlanta is the way it is now, and a lot of artists feel entitled because you got to think about it. You might go out one night and see everybody we talking about, and they just as casual in the club, and you know that entitlement of being around it and thinking that this is what's supposed to be happening. When you go to other cities, like I got a reality check. I was just telling the street this the other day when I went out to the Midwest, and I'm going like, man, you get none of that out there. From the club scenes, from the stuff that's going on out there, you just don't get that type of the atmosphere that we have out here. You know, you just can't walk in the club and light up and roll up and sit at the bar and roll a blunt. Only in Atlanta.
Yeah,
that's how I did homicide. That's how. That's
how only in Atlanta, bro.
That's how I did homicide.
Even in places where it's legal, you can't just. In a lot of places, you can't just walk in and just be free like that.
We be in Oklahoma City. You just can't walk in a club and roll up and sit at the bar and roll a blunt.
Right.
This is the only city I ever been in where you can do this at clubs. You can do it wherever you want to, man. Yeah. You know, like everywhere you go. A lot of things that's unacceptable is acceptable here in Atlanta, and I think a lot of that is because this is a black Mecca. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been in every major city across this country, pretty much. This is the only place where I've seen black people really have a hand in and on the city.
That's so real that you say that, bro, because I remember something as simple as, I remember working at a recording studio and, what was it? I remember like working at a studio and then being introduced like down here and then being introduced to somebody like, hey, this is my financial advisor. And I remember being shocked that it was a black person.
Right.
And then being mad at myself that I was shocked, you know what I'm saying, at that. Because I was like, damn, like we, you know what I mean? Just the fact that we programmed to think that way, that we think that black folks couldn't or shouldn't do a certain job is crazy. But like how you said, being here, and I remember talking to Killer Mike, and he broke that down to me too, where he said, man, growing up, I always felt like I could be and do anything,
right?
Because I saw black people at the highest point, you know what I mean, growing up in Atlanta.
So for me being an entrepreneur, my stepdad was always an entrepreneur, so I've never, even as when I grew up, I always knew I was gonna walk into entrepreneurship. I knew it. It wasn't a second guess or none of that. I knew I wanted to be my own boss because growing up, that's all I seen was black people own their own businesses. I always seen black people striving to do bigger and better things. I never seen a lot of working class black people when I was growing up. I seen a lot of black people that was owning their own businesses, doing a lot of different things and into a lot of different things that normal black people wasn't into.
Yeah. Why do you guys think that the club scene has died down so much here in Atlanta? Do you think it's solely due to the pandemic? Because it seemed like it slowed down after the pandemic, or
Picked
what
up
is it?
for me.
I think it slowed down. I mean, you got to think about a lot. I think a lot was going on during the pandemic. A lot of money was circulating. You know, you had the PPP loans, but I think a lot of it has slowed down because of the culture here. You know, you got the sections.
Right.
You got the bottle service.
You got more sections.
hookah
than you got-
lounges.
You got more sections than you got dance floor in most of the clubs.
But when you think about it, decline. I mean, we say it kiddingly a lot of times, but you pay more to get in before you can get to the club.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? You pay
Yeah.
$40 to park, you pay $20 to get in. You already close to you done spent half of $100 already.
Yeah.
God forbid if you got anybody with you, and they charging more than $20 on the door. You get what I'm saying? So now you add a nice $100 before you get in the club. So when you start to add that up over a period of time, people just get discouraged about going out. You know what I'm saying? So people start finding ways to entertain themselves at home now, especially with Instagram, YouTube, Netflix, and all these other different things. You know, you start having to weigh in, okay, why? What's the need of going to the club when I can do all these things at home?
Yeah.
For me, the club picked up after the pandemic. For me, shit was packed every fucking night. To this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word.
A stroker, shot a stroke.
Nah, dig it. Nah. Dope to hear the
pandemic proof.
Dope to hear the different perspectives too. You know, man. The DJ is, you know, like the true. How am I trying to say this? Like the DJ is the foundation of hip hop.
Right.
But in the new day and age of streaming and influencers, social media, things like that, there are more avenues now for people to discover music. What do you guys feel the DJ's role is in the music industry currently?
You want me to answer this?
Yeah. You go first.
The DJ role is so that's why we meet every Monday for New Music Monday. We try to figure out what everybody's playing, try to be on the same page. When Future was out, everybody was playing Future. Even to this day, if he dropped, everybody's kind of playing the same records, you know what I'm saying? So it just got to be something different about that artist, you know what I'm saying, for all of us to agree on it, you know what I'm saying? And that's what X was saying. We ain't seen those stars. They come out for a week, TikTok, 2 weeks, and then later on, what's hot? He asks us in the group, who's hot in Atlanta? Who else is hot? And it'd be hard. And so I think that's a struggle, just trying to find somebody to break out and keeping a consistent career going. You know what I'm saying? Who you think hot, Speedy?
Well, you ain't even answering my question yet. You changing my question.
Right. So go ahead. Repeat the question again.
No. So I'm asking, 'cause I want to talk about who's hot in Atlanta too,
Right.
but I'm asking about the DJ's position, like, their role, like in the music industry. At one point, the DJ had to be the first person to get the music.
If you ask me, Smitty, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think that role ever changed. I think a lot of smoke and mirrors have been put around that. But if you really want real organic placement, real organic growth with your record, it has to start in the street. I think like I said before, I think the algorithm works for the corporate structure. I think it works for Universal. I think it works for Sony artists, Interscope artists, because those businesses and those companies are already in bed with all the DSPs. So if you got an artist, Kendrick Lamar, he's gonna hit every playlist. You get what I'm saying? So when you think about an independent artist is not gonna have that as resources starting out. So he has to start with the DJ building an organic fan base to get to that point. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I say the role of the DJ still hasn't changed. We're still the first place you should go with your record. Yeah. Because if your record is not being played, and I say this to the DJs, and I ask anybody this, if your record ain't being played in the club, who playing you? Who's playing it? If your record ain't being played in the club when you go out, who's playing your record? They may play you in your, because everybody has a phone, but if you want that real, organic built fan base, you gotta get played in the club, because everybody that's major, every artist that's a major artist right now is being played in the club.
Yeah.
Every artist that's not a major artist right now ain't on the rotation in the club.
Yeah.
You may be an internet star, you may be great for streaming, but is it resonating into a real fan base?
Right.
And this is something that we all agree on. Be like, oh, we finna do this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
nah, for sure. Nah, it's definitely something that, it's definitely a topic that, you know, has been spoken about a lot lately, and I feel like, you know, needs to be, you know, more tapped into, because, you know, like, you have, you know, like, now people try to, you know, break their records on TikTok, or they might try to find the biggest comedian and say, okay, let me get them to do skits and, you know, things like that.
well, we've been through all of that. We've been through okay, you put it up on the blog site.
Yeah.
I know for a minute everybody was running to the Say Cheese and that thing, and that work in different regions. I'm not saying it don't work,
Right.
but a lot of those people were going to those platforms thinking, if I put it up on here, it's gonna take off.
Right.
What works for, and I'm a strong believer in this, what works for one person, it may not work for you.
True.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What Future did, I can give you the same thing we did for Future. Your record may not resonate the same way Future record did, but I gave you everything I did for Future.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I did everything I did for this guy, but it may not, your record may not resonate the same.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So you may have to take different avenues to get to the top. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And there's no, the crazy thing about this, there's no particular way, or there's no certain way that you can break a record. So when somebody tell you, oh, I got the foolproof print, that ain't foolproof, because you could take you could take a whole nother artist, and that plan that you thought worked, it may not work. You gotta add to and do other things that you probably did the first time, but you gotta add to that new program to make something work new for that artist.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So.
Word. One thing that I know about Coalition DJs that like makes you guys really popular amongst, you know, artists and labels and things like that is the fact that you guys are able to even track, you know, where the songs are getting played and are actually able to give like real tangible information, like information
Yes.
and feedback. You know what I'm saying, on these records. Has there ever been a song or artist that you guys have worked with where that feedback, you know, that data that you guys have gotten back has made a label or artist, you know, invest more into it and push a song more?
I couldn't really say from the data standpoint, because a lot of times, and I'm just being honest with you, most of the time when we had the monitoring system, Future always had records out. And when Future had those records out, he took up the chart.
Yeah.
But to just clear that up, I think a lot of times when and I want to say this because I want to add to that too. I think a lot of times, a lot of the things that was going on, that was being said about us as far as pushing and breaking records, we've always had a monitoring system in place. You know what I'm saying? Since maybe, I want to say 2010 or 11. You know what I'm saying? We hooked up with these guys out of New York, a guy named Izzy Sanchez and another guy named Jeff, and they hooked us up with this company named Pool. So the tracking system that we had for years came from this company called Pool. And we was able to monitor the DJ. So if Funky was playing at Strokers on a Friday night, we knew exactly what he was playing, how many times he played it, what side of the turntable he played it on, and what time. So a lot of the rumors that was going around that we didn't play records, we knew exactly what we was playing. Still to this day, we got a monitoring system that we're putting in place now, that we're working with a couple companies now that are very big. We're not gonna say now, but very big situation we got going on. And we're bringing the monitoring systems back, but this time we're gonna actually make it a lot bigger, and it's gonna be, we're gonna hold the DJs to be able to be held accountable for the records this time, opposed to before it was kind of like just a free form. You know what I mean?
Word. And X, I gotta say, when I go on Instagram, you know, it's funny, man. Your gram is one that I honestly like. I hit the search bar and I go to yours damn near every day because your Instagram feed is almost like a news channel. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like when I go to your gram, it's like I'm sitting up on a Saturday morning, like flipping through the newspaper, cause you tapping into a little bit of sports, some world news, what happened here, music, culture, like it's just dope, you know, just how you,
Thank you, bro.
curate, you know, your IG. So I was gonna ask, like, was that by design, or is this just like you're just putting out just everything you interested in is like you just putting it out there? You know?
I mean, you gotta think about it like this, man. I've been in this music business for a long time, right? So I think a lot. I do a lot. I smoke a lot. And my think process, man, I just be all over the place. I really want to be into politics, but I know how funny people can be about that, especially if you don't know, this past election, I stayed out of it.
Yeah.
But I like to be informative. I think a lot of times we're not using these platforms the way they should be used. I think we should be sharing information. And I said this before they took my last page. They took my last Instagram. I had like maybe 90,000 followers, but they took my page on Christmas Eve morning. I woke up on Christmas Eve morning, and that was Instagram's present to me.
Wow.
So I had to start over. But I think when we sharing this information, and I always say this, just imagine if we shared the positive and the right information the same way we share the negative information.
That's so real.
And how many people we could educate, and how many entrepreneurs and how many millionaires we could create from the right information being in their hand opposed to ignorant information being in their hand. If you notice, if you look at those programs, you rarely see other people fighting. You rarely see other people doing anything destructive as far as a culture. But when you look at those platforms, we the entertainment. Once we understand we the entertainment, we'll stop posting a lot of the nonsense that we posted, because I always say perception is everything.
Yeah.
And when you perceive, we got to start remembering how we being perceived across the world.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They're not only seeing this in your hometown. That little group of people, that circle of people that you in, that ignorant shit you just put up on the page, that's gonna go worldwide. Everybody's gonna see that. So when I go to England, I go somewhere overseas, they're gonna judge me from that perception of what they seen a black man on Instagram of. And that's what I try to change every time I post. I'm very conscious of what I post, opposed to, I will post some dumb shit sometimes, but most of the time I try to post as informational and educational as I can, but a lot of times it ain't much on there. So, and I do know I gotta keep people engaged on my page, but I do try to post stuff so people can engage.
Right. No, I can dig it. Can you guys just speak on the mission of, you know, like the Coalition DJs, the Coalition DJs, like the event you guys are doing, you know what I mean? Like what should people expect, you know, from this event?
Our 17th year anniversary is what people should expect is
we're gonna kick it off, man. As strokers, you know what I'm saying, welcome everybody in, get all the DJs comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The next day, we're gonna do a spin-off, you know what I'm saying? Get the DJs to see who got the best spin-off game, you know what I'm saying? Open format.
And it's
over
a true
at Jamin's
celebration of the DJ.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the DJ.
And then that night, we're gonna do the A&R. We're gonna look for, see who's hot, like what you were saying.
Yep.
What we was trying to say, we looking for new artists, man.
yeah.
So at the A&R room, that's gonna be at Stankonia, you know what I'm saying, our home, but it's gonna be a different setting. You feel me? It ain't gonna be feedback. It's gonna be some cool shit.
it's gonna actually be a show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's the difference in it. And then that Sunday we're gonna do the R&B brunch over at Seesaw. We're gonna bring out some R&B guests. We got Jagged Edge. I think we got D-Girl, Drew Sidor, and some more special guests that's gonna come out. And then that Monday we got the main show. But our goal from it all, man, is just to make sure people come out and have a good time. We wanna bring back that overall, let's get together, let's unite, let's pull together our resources and be great again.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That's really what it's all about. That's why this weekend, it really ain't so much about us getting this big check. You know, like we got a bunch of free
we getting a
events.
big check?
We should, but we do got
about that one.
but we got a few free events, like the Saturday event. The DJ spinoff is free. The brunch is free. So we definitely wanted to make sure we gave.
Stroke is free as long as you get there before 7.
Yeah, as long as you get there before 7, it's free.
Yeah.
But we wanted to do more things that's around, you know, community and culture wise, opposed to, you know, everything we've done over the last few years has been independent artists, come, you know, come and do this, come and do that. We wanted to actually build, hey man, come out, let's have a good time, let's party, let us get to know the new people, the new artists that's came to Atlanta. I think over the last 15 years, we've seen some of the same people, but you know, in 15 years, it's some kids that then came up and watched us at the same time. So where we want to connect with that new fan base, that new base of audience and that new generation of artists that's coming up now too. So, and we want to make it be more affordable for them to come.
Yeah, word. No, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. Yo, man, it's been a pleasure chopping it with y'all brothers, man. Like I could go on honestly for like 2 more hours. There's so much more that I like really want to ask both of you guys about. So what I definitely want to do is I'm starting a one-on-one series, and I want to have both of you brothers, you know what I'm saying, come and sit down on that one-on-one series so we can really.
Yeah, the one-on-one I definitely want to do with you because I know we can get deep, man.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm definitely gonna have, you know what I'm saying, y'all each come on real spit, you know what I'm saying, individually. And
I know we've been trying to get this one for a long time. So listen, man, I'm honored to be on your show.
Me too.
I'm actually a subscriber and I watch the show a lot, as you know. Yeah. And I'm proud of you, bro. Like I don't think a lot of people come in and tell you how much they proud of what you do. I appreciate that. And I've been watching the growth, like I told you. We've been watching you for years, just watching this thing grow. Man, you really built an empire, man, and I just wanted to say thank you for having us on. And we appreciate everything you do.
I mean, like we were saying earlier, man, full circle moments. I mean, look, man, Funky, you and me was rocking together over at Corey Mo House, where Off the Porch actually started on that porch indicator. You know what I'm saying?
Real porch.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like the Off the Porch
Country
started
rap too.
At that porch with Bankroll Fresh and Young Dolph being the first 2 artists that was ever interviewed on the platform.
And Fresh, man.
Yeah, nah, for sure. And then Funky, I mean, then X, you know what I'm saying? You and me, you know, go back and.
We've been working for years, like behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know that, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's good to see you doing this and putting a face on, you know, what your work too.
Yeah, nah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, cause y'all been pushing that forever. Like, Spitty, you need to get from behind the scenes. Stop being the dude behind the computer.
And you hear that, man. Like, and I say, man, one of the things I want to say before I leave, man, is we have always been approachable. We've always been the guys that, man, listen, you can come up and talk to us. You can bring us your music, and we want to bring that back. We want to just bring back that good feeling of, man, listen, these 2 guys or these DJs, listen, regardless of what we give you as feedback, we're gonna give you honest feedback that's gonna help, that's gonna make it work for you. Yeah. But if you sit here and you don't take the feedback, you ain't gonna be able to grow. You gotta let this thing manifest for you, bro.
Nah, for sure. You brothers got any shout outs you wanna give?
Shout out to my wife, my kids. That's it.
Yeah, shout out to my family, shout out to my daughter, Octavia, Stacy, my boy Street Politician, Buddy, the entire Coalition team, Smooth, Filthy, Sam, Rich, Shawty Rock, all the DJs, Be Easy, Double D. I can't go by, you know, I can almost say everybody, but listen. Everybody, man. My Detroit family, the Midwest, Dallas, you know what I'm saying? So I can't mention everybody, so if I miss you, you know we love you, man. But listen, 2025, you're going to see a lot more of us. This is just the beginning, man. And thank you again.
Yes, sir. Let's get it, y'all. Appreciate y'all jumping off the porch with us.
All right.
30 Glow Best.